I will say this, Sebastian. When I read the title of this new album, Viagra Boys.
Oh, you're wrong.
Am I wrong? Yeah.
It's Viagra Boys.
It's Viagra because the A.
It's self-titled.
It's self-titled.
Oh.
It feels like you were. We asked you beforehand. It feels like you're us.
Yeah. It's just a little bit. I think it's, we made a poster actually. We did a poster once, and then I wanted it to look symmetrical.
Right.
And I think it's the same amount of letters on each side, so I'm like, let's just do that.
Right.
And then it ended up.
You're like, do you ever have to say it out loud? Is that a rarity to have to say the title of it? Because everybody's like, oh, is it just Viagra Boys, the album? You're like,
this
it's
is
not.
probably the first time, yeah.
This is the first time. How does it feel? Does it feel good?
It feels weird. I don't know. I don't like it anymore. Actually.
Fair. When it was announced on our show that Viagra Boys was coming to perform, you have a lot of fans here, including myself. We're big Viagra Boys fans.
Hell yeah.
And then you also had people in the building who didn't know Viagra Boys, and they just saw what's coming on the show, Viagra Boys. And they wondered if it was like a health-conscious, pro-masculinity group, like a subpar sketch comedy group that was coming out. Where did Viagra Boys come from?
Well, the name came from a friend of mine who was just at the time when we started the band, we were pretty people at the time.
Yeah.
And now I got my shit together. But back then we were on a lot of stimulants and stuff like that, and the actual use of Viagra was a necessity. And if I, which is weird. It's different from most people. They're young and everything works, and then they get old and it doesn't. For me, it was I was young and nothing worked. And then I grew up, and look at me now.
Is it true? I read somewhere that this band, your being a part of this band, owes a lot to Mariah Carey.
That's true. Yeah,
that fair?
That's how my bassist found out my incredible talent. Was we were at a karaoke show for a friend of ours who was her birthday party, and I sang my go-to karaoke song is "We Belong Together" by Mariah Carey.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't sing it anymore. I don't know why, but I used to be able to hit those high notes.
But that is what drew them in?
But then my bassist saw it, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to start a punk band or what?"
This is happening in Sweden, is that correct?
This is in Sweden.
So you grew up in America.
Grew up in America. I fled.
How is property in Sweden? Is there any available?
There is.
Just
It's
asking
cheap.
for a friend.
Rent's cheap. It's you don't have to pay. What is it, like $2,000 a month to live in some shithole apartment like you do here?
Okay. To be fair, it's $4,000 a month.
Oh yeah.
To live in a shithole, and we appreciate it.
And you get to work 4 jobs.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah. The American dream.
The American dream.
No, I feel like I moved to Sweden to actually live the American dream.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How is that? What is it like to move there? You're like 17?
I was 17. Yeah, it was great. It was a bit of a culture shock. Swedes don't really. I mean, I guess they like Americans, but they like them like as a novelty, little, like, oh yeah, cool, and then like hamburgers, and then they're like, yeah, okay, go sit somewhere else, Like, but luckily I speak fluent Swedish, so I was able to nestle myself into the Swedish culture.
To get in there. What's it like coming back now, doing an American tour? I know there are some...
It's scary.
I was going to say... Well, I mean, some groups are choosing not to, or they're canceling tours. Was that a conversation you guys had?
That was a conversation, for sure. But at the same time, I kind of feel like our fans, I feel like, they deserve to hear, resistance music as well. And, I feel like I come here to play for like-minded people, hopefully. You know? Not everyone has to think exactly like me, but it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, these, because the people that go to our shows, for the most part, they aren't the ones snatching people off the streets, and
You're not getting all that. I mean, it is curious because I feel like your music is not to. I mean, it's. Call it punk rock, but I feel like a lot of the lyricism, in many ways, it feels like, at least from an outside looking in, you're inhabiting a character, or you sort of play this heightened version, or at times is written from a perspective of like a hyper-masculinity, almost to the point of like dysfunctional male perspective, in a way that's very funny. I
am a dysfunctional male.
I was going to say, are you satirizing something, or are you just living your truth?
It is satire, but at the same time, it's it's a bit, that's kind of how you get over, or that's how you change as well, is admitting to your own faults and you know, doing some investigative journalism into your own soul. So. So yeah, I mean, I think it's 50-50 satire, 50-50 my truth.
Yeah,
know, for sure.
How do you how do you start with an idea there? Are you starting with that in mind? Like, it does feel like in 2025, like the punk scene in and of itself is always speaking towards or against oftentimes authority, and now we're in this weird time in America specifically, like. That feels like you're under the weight of the time that we are in. Do you grapple with that? Is that a place that you started from creatively?
Not really. Yeah. Like, I don't really.
God, I gotta move to Sweden. I gotta tell you.
No, but there's not too many. I mean, like, dude, it bums me out to think about that shit all the time. Like, you know, so I usually, you know, maybe, you know, I'll start writing a song from maybe just my perspective of kind of what I'm seeing around me, and not instead like, oh yeah, this is what, you know. Like freedom, or like we need to fight for our rights to, you know. I don't feel like I'm a good enough commentator on what's going on. You know, what I can do is speak my, you know, what I see and how I perceive it, and I perceive things in a kind of way. But hopefully, you know, but it obviously resonates with some people.
Yeah.
So
what do you, I mean, when you come here, what do you hope American audiences take away from it?
Just that you can be yourself, and you know, be whoever the hell you want to be, and you know, that you know, freaks are welcome.
Freaks are welcome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, on this latest album, there is a song that investigates what it's like when somebody's partner falls in love with a body that's found in a bog. Dead. Yeah.
Well, that was actually a kind of a true story too.
Right?
Well, I mean, not entirely, but my fiance, she spends a lot of time like reading on weird stuff. Like it can be.
Oh, I've talked to these people before.
Yeah.
Yes.
She'll just like find one subject and then she's in it for you know, like weeks. She's like, oh, did you know that bog bodies are blah blah? And I'm like, I don't want to hear any more about these bog bodies. and then she was at a museum one day where they have a lifelike creation of Sweden's most famous bog body. But they made what he would look like, you know, made out of wax.
Yeah.
And she was taking all these sexy photos with him and like and kissing him, and like she was showing her tits and doing all this, and I was like, this mother. And so that's why I wrote the song.
And to be clear, is that a trope in Sweden? Bog bodies? Is that there is a most famous?
It's a thing.
Bog,
You know?
It is a thing.
It's a kink for some people.
Which in and of itself is a
perfectly preserved corpses.
Yeah. Well, tonight you're giving us Pyramid of Health.
Yeah.
Is that inspired by Tylenol?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's, you know, don't take Tylenol, folks. You can grow a tail or whatever. You know, who knows? But yeah, it's inspired by pseudo health bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
Burning Man, all that crap.
We're going to give a little taste of the newest album in just a bit. We're going to come back from it. I want to say it right. Viagra Boys. Viagra. Boys.
Aboys.
Viagra.
Or Viagra Boys.
Viagra Boys is available now.